So you started the recording, and then yeah, we'll just you know the drill. Just give me a minute while I'm looking for something to talk about.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers in position. Defend objective A.
All right. And then you say this is plat game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
plat 2700.
All right. Good positioning. I like that we're holding all the way back here rather than just like super far forward. So you usually sometimes you'll find the lower you go that you'll have people like holding up here and stuff like that. So already right off the bat, good positioning because it shows that we have at least have a basic understanding of no man's land usage and cover and choke point usage.
Right, yeah. I don't know. Like, plat's like really tough to play Ryan.
Mm. Alright, so the first thing I'm noticing here in this game is that we kind of don't notice which way that their team goes, so we kind of like go over here and contest the one McCree. So first off, we're back and we're like really far off, so instead like we should probably be like shielding here while we're just peeking to see like which direction they go. Here we don't really like even give any time to check where they're going. We just kind of like going over to the McCree because we hear them before we even check where they're at, and then we see the McCree and we see, okay, well, their tank's not here, and then that means that we're already kind of on the opposite side of them. So the big thing is that we're already giving up a ton of space and letting them walk in, and when we could have been holding like right over here and contesting them and making them have to pushing them back a little bit and giving our team space to work with, but here we kind of like let them walk in for free because we're on the wrong side. And then we go to the right side, and then our Ana dies here, so we actually aren't able to do anything.
Yeah, that was a bummer. I was like, can't go aggressive.
Yeah. So we back up. That's good. I like that we identify that we can't though. That's good. So we identified that we couldn't get aggressive there. All right. Fire Strike. I'd like to see Fire Strikes coming out more often. So Fire Strike's going to be your biggest source of shatter charge rate, and just a really good source of consistent damage that you can just output from like any range, right? You could like launch it from anywhere because it's your longest range ability. So you just want to use that thing basically off a cooldown. Every time it comes up, we're using it, unless of course you're about to die because of it, or if you already have shatter, you don't use it. But for the most part, in most situations, you're using it all the time. There's some situations where it doesn't apply though.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Do we have a team with us? That's just something we want to check. Okay, so we do. So again, it seems like we have a good, decent understanding of no man's land usage because we are holding back here, though we keep backing up really far. Let's see. We're gonna take high ground. No, we're sitting in. So maybe rather than backing all the way back that way, like we just kind of like went straight back. Instead, we can just like go right side, and then this means that we're just doing the exact same backup, except for like, it actually puts us out of their line of sight faster, and it means we can recharge our shield faster. It means we're actually closer to walk back in. So rather than just like walking straight backwards, walk to the side, right?
Okay.
Fire striking off cooldown, right? There we go. And then we're already down a person to start off here. Yeah, just baiting them in. We're kind of avoiding conflict at the moment. It seems like we're playing very passive. Like here we essentially just give them the fight, even though being down one person is not a lost fight, right? I
Right.
don't know if we specifically talked about that last time of how to know whether or not you're winning or losing a fight. I think I actually saw that in the notes. Yeah, we talked about kill feed watching, right? How to know when you're winning or losing. So in this instance, it's a 6v1, or sorry, 6v5, right? We're down one single person. That does not mean we've lost this, right? We still have a very good chance of winning. Yet notice how like we're not even engaging. We're just kind of backing. We die and then we just hard back like right off the bat, kind of like we'd lost the fight. So we lose our tracer and then we just back and back and back and back. Right. We're kind of trying to get out as if we had already lost this. And then
Yeah,
as a
no, that was...
yeah, and then now they just keep pushing us for free. So, big thing a big point I'd like to get across is that Reinhardt is a brawl character, right? What that means is that Reinhardt, needs to be swinging on stuff, or else you're playing his character wrong, right? If you're just gonna sit there and shield the entire time, that means that you'd be much, much better off playing Orisa or Sigma, who can shield and shoot. Reinhardt cannot shield and shoot at the exact same time. If he's shielding, that means he's not swinging and doing damage. Whereas there's other characters who can do that, right? So Reinhardt needs to be on, essentially, is a close range character. He needs to be in there on top of things, and he needs to be swinging, and he needs to be doing damage. Otherwise, we're basically negating half of our kit, right? If we're just shielding, that's ruining half of what we do as Reinhardt, right? And you can see this in kind of this kind of in the charge differences between our charge and the enemy Reinhardt's chatter, is that he's just been swinging on people more, and he's 15% ahead of us, right? So we just aren't actually, sorry, that's 25 ahead of us, right? I miscalculated that. So far we just really have been playing way too passive, and we just want to make sure we're playing more aggressive. And particularly, we play aggressive when we have shields and when we have health and when we have teammates, and we play passive when we don't have teammates and we don't have health and we don't have shields. Like at the very beginning of this fight, we had no reason to back up because we had shields and we had health. Right? When we have both of those, then we play aggressive. If we're playing it, let's say we tried to play aggressive now, what's gonna happen if we just ran into them right now?
I think my Zarya would have grab in less than 2 seconds at 93%, and we're up 3 ults. Almost everyone has ult, and then the enemy team doesn't have any ult.
Okay. I would say you'd probably get shredded and you'd die if you tried to push. Because of the fact that you have zero shield, right? You can't play aggressive if you don't have a shield, because if you don't have a shield, that means that you try to push forwards and you're gonna get shredded. And if you lose your health and you try to back out, you're gonna get shredded because you can't stop yourself from dying, right? So in this instance, yeah, we have the ult advantage, but we probably would need to wait. Either we need to like really hug cover as we push in, so like maybe we could push in through like this room or something, or the top. Honestly, a really good idea would be to come around top and then drop on them, right? But we want to recharge our shield while we're pushing in. The big thing is you play aggressive when you have shield, when you have health, and when you have teammates. You play passive when you don't have health, when you don't have shields, when you don't have teammates, right? Um, you just
Right.
We want to get that right, because so far we're not really getting that right. Here, probably take take high ground and get above them, right? Okay, so multiple different things that we get from that. So maybe we do not benefit from high ground, but Ana benefits from high ground, and Zenyatta benefits from high ground, right? Hanzo would benefit from high ground if he was here. Zarya can benefit from high ground a little bit, right? She can just drop on their heads and toss in a grab, right? Um, and then we also, even if we don't directly benefit from being able to shoot at them from high ground, this also would just be a super easy way. This is what you call pathing, right? Pathing is like which direction. Like we have a couple different paths we can take to get to them, right? So from where we're at, let's go back to here, when we're sitting. Oh, it's not. This is a little bit too far forward. So like from right here, right? If we're trying to run at them and be aggressive, we have three paths we could take, right? We could go main. We can go through this little room, or we could go high ground, and then technically, you have a ton of ones, but they aren't realistic. Like you go all the way around or all the way around, right? But these are the three main paths, right? Three paths. Which one would you say is the safest?
The stairs path
Yep.
to the high ground.
Okay. Which one would get us to them? Probably get us uh, on top of them. The how do I say this? Which one of these is going to allow us to basically just pop out in order to be on top of them?
Also, through the middle, possibly.
Middle and the top, right? Both of them, right?
Yeah.
If we come through here, it's safe and through cover, but it's also a little tiny choke, so that might not be the best for us, and it's gonna be hard to push our whole team through there, right? And we come out here and we're already on top of them, right? Come through the top, drop on top, we drop in already on top of them. try to run through main, we're gonna get shredded. There's no cover anywhere. It's very unsafe, and we have to run this entire distance to get to them. So high ground's just gonna be the best way to go because we get our team a bunch of different advantages. Like we give our supports high ground, Zarya high ground, drop in on top of them, and it's very safe because the whole thing is cover usage, right? And we have cover the whole way, and there's nobody up there. So we want to take high ground here. That's what you call pathing. We want to take the good pathing here.
Okay.
All right. And then here we just kind of sit low ground, and then we try to run down main, right? So just the ones that we were saying is probably the worst option. And then again, we can play. We're kind of like backing up here. All right. Notice how we have not gotten aggressive at all. All right. So now we're getting aggressive. This is good. I think we're watching for the shatter, which is good. Okay. You could probably get away with it honestly with just flat up charging here, right? This would close the distance, get us on them fast. We really probably don't need to be too scared of dying. We have a nano. We have 2 supports that can heal us up. We are sorry, 1 support that can heal us up. We have right now it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 v4, and they are also low health, right? And we have a nano going, like I said. So in this situation, we could probably just end up charging because again, if we're paying attention to our surroundings, we have the advantage, and therefore we play aggressively. And we also got an extra pick there too, right?
Right.
And then not charging maybe lets them get out there. Like, okay, so did we get the Ana? No, okay. So not charging there just lets some of them get out, and we probably could have punished them a little bit harder for it. All right. Probably want to be retaking high ground, so in between fights we want to, and I think now we're getting into a whole lot of positioning stuff on ball. Like I don't think if I went back to it, yeah, positioning was kind of like the last one, but that's because like on ball positioning's not really existent too much because you're not really sitting in one place for too long, right? And you have so much mobility that you make up for any lack of in positioning. But
Yeah.
on pretty much any other character in the game, positioning is really important. Okay. In between every single fight, we want to reposition to the best place possible so that we have the best positioning to start off the fight. In this situation, where do you think would be probably the best spot to go?
Either on the top right here on the screen
Mhm.
would be good.
Perfect. Yep, that's exactly where we want to be. Right. This means that if they try to go top, we can contest them. Right. So we can keep them off of just getting the high ground for free. Because if we're just giving them the high ground is this very significant advantage. Right. So that would give our entire team here the high ground advantage, and it also removes the advantage from them. Because if they just put McCree, Ashe, Ana, and Mercy up on the high ground, then that's like a big advantage that we're just giving them to them for free. Right. The other thing is that where's Card at? Right. Card's all the way over here. We don't even need to take the fight until they reach cart, right? And by that point, all we have to do again is just drop from high ground to point, right? So we don't need to be like all the way up here because cart's all the way back there. So preferably here we would take like top right high ground, and then if they go top right, we can contest them. If they go bottom left, then we just wait till they go to point, and then maybe we can like shoot them for a bit from high ground and then drop on them when we see a good chance to, right?
Right.
So let's see what we do with Shatter. They also have a Shatter as well. So let's see what we do to do this. Unfortunate, just sorry, it gets shattered, but for the most part, good block there. Massive shatter. All right, really, really good. Just charge him.
Charge him. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just charge him. That's gonna stun him, do a bunch of damage. Means that he's not doing anything. All right, that's gonna. I believe charge just like 300 damage, right? And then plus with the Discord, that's I don't even know how much Discord buffs it, but that's a whole lot, right? But in any case, that's a really good play there. We block the shatter, put it back up. We're holding up shield right now when it's half HP, right? Make sure we're letting it recharge. Make sure we're letting it recharge, right? Because we don't want to come into this fight with half a shield. Because now we're coming into this fight and we have half a shield. Okay. So shield management, just make sure whenever it's not needed that we're not putting it up. Because we keep putting it up, can't dropping it, putting it up, dropping it, putting it up, and then that means that we're gonna come into a situation where we actually need it, and it's going to be at 600 HP, right?
Right.
And then we let it recharge, and then we put it back up, right? We let it recharge for like half a second there. And then we put it back up, and then we drop it, and then we put it back up, right? We have not let it recharge like once so far that fight, right? We just want to make sure we're letting our shield recharge. Also, again, notice how incredibly passive we're playing here, right? We did not, during this entire duration of the fight, we did not swing on one single thing, right? Again, kind of negating our job as a brawler tank by not brawling, right? We're just kind of sitting there and shielding, sitting there and shielding. So kind of have fundamental misunderstanding of Reinhardt as a character.
Right. Yeah, it's just one of my weaknesses
Yep.
on Ryan.
Alright, so good, we just hold this honestly, cover usage has been pretty decent. I think so far positioning and pathing has been a little bit weak, but like we do like on positioning wise, the things that we're doing a little bit good on are that we do it seems to have a good understanding of don't stand out in the open, and we do have a good understanding of no man's land usage and cover usage, which you might not even be familiar with the term, but like for no man's land, but you do still use it properly. No man's land is basically any like long open area where there's no cover. So a good example would be like this, where there's absolutely no cover anywhere, and you don't want to be standing in the front or in the middle of it, because if you are, then you just have to walk backwards through it. But we usually hold at the end of it, which is what you want to be doing. So you seem to have a good grasp on that, and you don't stand down the open, like we're holding the corner here for the most part. So honestly, positioning in that sense has been pretty good. We just aren't really taking high ground when it's an option, and we're also just not getting aggressive. Alright, and then now we're down to people. We're just backing up again. Again, those just keep in mind as well with our shield usage. You don't want to sit there, like when it comes to using your shield, your job is not to shield meaningless spam damage, right? So they're just going pew, 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 shoot, shoot, shoot. Our job is not to just soak all that up, because if we do, that's just putting shield at 348 HP, and now we can never push and get aggressive. Instead, what we should be doing is we can shield when we're blocking abilities, we can shield when we're blocking ultimates, we can shield when we are low or when our team is low, and besides that, we want to conserve our shield and not just use it for random spam damage, so that when the fight starts, we're coming in with maybe like 1,000, like 200 ish, right, on our shield. We're walking in and getting aggressive when we have that. That way we have our shield to push in, and then we get aggressive, we start swinging on stuff, and then we get low, and then we have our shield to back out, right? But
Right.
at the current pacing that we have, we're wasting so much of our shield that we're not even able to push in, because we're just wasting all of it beforehand, right?
Right.
Alright. McCree's bottom left. Yep, we maybe swinging on him? No. Again, we kind of push in, fire strike, and then back out immediately, right? It's kind of, again, just we want to make sure we're brawling, doing stuff. Oh, he's 1 HP. It looks like we canceled our swing there on him, actually. What was that?
Yeah, I was thinking
Whenever
that too.
whenever you get shattered, be aware that there's a good chance that the enemy Reinhardt's going to drop his shield. So, because he's going to want to swing, or he's going to want to charge, or he's going to want to do something into your thing, and you can actually shatter him while you're still in graph, right? So just keep in mind that as an option, right, to do. Here, we actually swing at him. Oh, okay, that's what happened. He was bubbled. Okay, that makes sense. I missed the bubble there.
Oh, okay. Unlucky for me.
Massive. Okay, so far shatter usage has seemed like one of the. So let's do a quick strengths to weaknesses, since I think we've we've seen multiple different parts of your kit so far. Charging. I haven't seen too much charging. Like, keep in mind that charging isn't an option, especially when you're at a close range. You most certainly don't want to go for long range charges, because that's gonna get you killed, or mid range charges. But when you're charging, for example, like when a wall's like right here, you're gonna come out of that charge instantaneously, and therefore you just got 300 damage in half a second, right? So just keep in mind that is an option. Fire strikes, just make sure you're using it off a cooldown, but besides that, no other problems. Shielding does need a lot of work, so shielding is where we're getting into a lot of problems, and that is probably going to be one of the bigger things in our ability usage. Shatters actually has seemed like one of our stronger suits on Reinhardt. It's seeming like we're getting some decent shatters in. Both of our shatters have connected and landed, and we've gotten more than one person in them. And then we've also blocked. Oh, sorry, we blocked one out of the two of the Reinhardt shatters. So our shatter game has been looking pretty solid so far. Moving on, mechanics is not a thing on Reinhardt, so nothing to do with mechanics. And then getting into positioning. Positioning is looking like the biggie so far. And I think we'll. Oh, I probably say like we're gonna put like so far. I'm thinking the three big ones up at the. I'm not even sure like at the moment. I'm not even sure like where like how to rate them all. But the four things that I'm like putting at the very top of needing to be worked on are shield usage, aggression, positioning, and awareness. Because keep in mind that you can probably say awareness slash aggression, as awareness directly feeds into aggression. When we're aware of what's happening around us and how our character is supposed to be played and yada yada, that's going to allow us to make good decisions, keeping in mind that good awareness is going to allow us to make good decisions. When we have bad awareness, we're going to be inherently making bad decisions because you can't make good decisions without good awareness. Um, your I think your shield usage is also going to feed into your aggression a little bit. I'd probably say that overall, aggression is looking like probably like the big tippity top thing that we're looking at, but then some of the other ones feed into it. Like your shield management is going to feed into your aggression, your awareness is going to feed into your aggression, and for another, your positioning as well is going to feed into your aggression if we're not knowing how to position correctly or take the right pathing, right? So that's
Right.
where what we're looking at in the moment, as kind of the big four, and big one in particular is aggression. Whew, massive fire strike. Again, don't be afraid to charge to catch up to them. Like you have two purposes out of your charge. You can use charge for mobility, right, to get from point A to point B fast, or you can use charge to kill something, right?
Right.
You have to be really careful with charge because it could very easily get you killed if you're not careful with it. Because when you charge, you're stuck in an animation that you cannot cancel until Overwatch 2. Um, you're stuck in an animation that you can't cancel, and therefore you're gonna die if you use it from, like, let's say you tried to charge the Reinhardt from here, you'd probably end up dying, right? Because he's gonna see it coming, he's just gonna dodge it. The McCree's gonna flashbang you, they're gonna shoot at you, and you're dead. But if we're charging into this right, like if the Reinhardt's like right here up against this wall, we could charge from here to the wall and be out of that charge animation in half a second or 1 second rather than being in that charge animation for 3 seconds, right? Big
Right.
difference. The other thing is that we don't have to necessarily be afraid of charging if there's only like two people to shoot at us and we have our whole team, right? So again, like sometimes you just have such a significant player advantage, that you can get insanely aggressive, right? So like here, right, you get the fire strike that kills one of them. So right now they are all 1 HP, right? 1 HP, 1 HP, half HP, right? And you have some teammates with you. They're not. You don't really have anybody looking at you particularly. You have the one McCree looking at you, but he's about to die, right? Or something like that, right? So here we could probably just charge straight into them and get away with it, right? Just flat out.
Right.
And then that would catch up with them and maybe not let them to get out. Oh, massive snipe though. So like I said, no problem with the placement of our fire strikes. Just want to make sure we're using it all the time.
Okay.
And also, like, it's not even that inconsistent. I just noticed at the very beginning of the game there's some like pause or where we didn't do it. Like let's see. I'm just kind of watching the fire strike. Like it comes off a cooldown. We use it once here, right, and then it's on cooldown for 6 seconds, and then we get it back, and we go 1, 2, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Okay, so then we kind of went 5 more seconds without using it. So just keeping in mind that that's almost enough time to fit an entirely other Fire Strike in that time, right? So
Right.
you know, you that's just what I'm talking about. It's honestly, it's not that terrible. Out of all the things we're talking about, this is pretty minuscule, but it's still something, right? So that's kind of it's kind of like a thing to work on in the future once you've gotten rid of all the big main issues of aggression and other things we talked about. But it's still something, because it's just slightly late. It's just slightly delayed. Okay, really good.
I think one thing for me, like when I play during the game,
Mhm.
I try not to fire strike because in case the other Ryan has shatter and he shatters me when I fire
Mm.
strike,
All
it
right.
will just cause a big problem.
Then we just need to pay attention to when he has shatter, right? Like when is the last time I used it? So that means we want to pay attention to, you know, when was the last time the enemy used shatter, right? So he used shatter right here,
Yeah.
right? We use shatter right after him, so we know that he used it first. But we also just got a bunch of damage here, right? We killed a bunch of things. We push forwards, so we know that we just use shatter pretty much at the exact same time, right? But
Right.
we just went and killed a bunch of stuff, and now look at the difference between you and Reinhardt, right? And then we're gonna even get another fire strike on the Ryan and the McCree here. So look at this one, right? And then now, oh, stop! I didn't mean to skip there. And then now look at us again, right? 12 to 47. So we are very much higher than him. So we just basically the process of telling when does he have shatter comes down to a couple different things. First off, when was the last time I used it? And a good thing to do is to compare your percentages, especially if you use them at the same time, right? If you just use shatter at the exact same time and he died immediately afterwards, he didn't do anything. But you just killed a bunch of things, therefore you're gonna have shatter before he has shatter, right?
Okay.
Unless you see him doing a whole lot. But he comes in, right? He's not swinging on stuff. He's not swinging on stuff. He gets a fire strike off. You get a fire strike off, right? He's not swinging. He's not doing anything. So uh, you don't have to be afraid here because he's at 20%, right? Because he has done literally nothing since last fight where he used it, right? And we
Right.
know that we're ahead of him. If any, like we know almost guaranteed that we're ahead of him in ult charge, and yet we're only halfway to it. So there's no reason to be afraid here if we're just paying attention to kind of when was the last time I used it, how much did he do, right? And you know that's how you essentially track other ultimates, but that's a little bit complicated. I go over that stuff with people who want to go over it, but it's not something we have to. But tracking Reinhardt definitely is something that you want to get into the habit of doing. It's just when was the last time I used it? How much did he do? How, like comparing your shatter against his shatter. All right.
Okay. I guess in time I could just develop that awareness.
Mhm.
Helden sterben nicht. Lights out.
I should have shattered there.
Yep. You just move forwards a little bit. Boom, shatter. All right. Or potentially even we could charge it or something like that. But all right. So she wakes him up, and then the opportunity's gone. Okay, notice again, just like so what our play style should look like is we're not we're kind of up here, we're on the corner, we're swinging, we're fire striking, we back up in the room, and we're not shielding, right? We're not shielding at the start of the fight. We can maybe shield if we see something to block, right? In particular, but we're not just getting spam damage. And then once they get up to us, instead of backing up, we're swinging on them. We're swinging, 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 and then now we see we're low. Okay, now we're backing up, right? So that's
Right.
how the process should look. Instead, what the process looks like is we just go shield, shield, shield. Okay, Reinhardt's pushing me back, right? And we're just we need to swing on anything there, right? So we just want to make sure that we're that's not what our play style's looking like. We're not just shielding and then backing up and then shielding and then backing up, because that's not how Reinhardt as a character plays.
No.
Okay, shatter before Reinhardt gets up, right? Don't feel like you always need to get the enemy Reinhardt in a shatter, right? This isn't like when you're looking for a shatter, it's not like always a shatter v shatter war, right? Sometimes you can go if you see Reinhardt's dead or Reinhardt's not, not there, or if people are on the like outside of his shield, right? You have multiple different options here. You don't always have to outsmart him or trick him or whatever, right? Here Reinhardt dies, right? Reinhardt's dead. They're rezzing him. Right here we could we could be pushed forwards and shatter and get, Zarya, Ana, maybe the Mercy and the Genji right now before Reinhardt's able to actually shield because he's still respawning. Right? Yeah, we were hesitant with it, and then that means we didn't do anything. Right. Here we probably should still be. I would say a good idea would, rather than just trying to back up, would be to like, while you have the advantage of the nano, to try to get super aggressive and try to kill something, right? Because I like. Let's go back here a little bit, right? You get nanoed, right? Your whole team's dead. Yeah, this is essentially a lost fight. But what is the likelihood that you make it from here to out to getting out alive?
I'll most likely survive with a nano if I was still on that Rhine on and then on cart, possibly.
Yeah, I'm saying it's if you probably have like a slim chance of survival here. Like you can see here that like, oh, again, keep in mind you don't have to necessarily. It's not just you versus Reinhardt when it comes to shatters. We don't necessarily have to solo shatter him, right? When maybe shattering this way might get you 2 people rather than 1 person. But I mean, we also just have to pay attention to bubbles, right? We have 2. Like you always have to pay attention to team compositions. This is a part of awareness and go, what can block my my shatters, right? On their team comp, they have literally 2 things. They have bubbles and they have shield. So we just have to pay attention to those things to make sure that they're not blocking them. Alright, so
Right.
honestly, that's fine. Like, we didn't do too poor things. I was just saying maybe we could have capitalized with the nano boost, but I guess getting out is also okay there. Nice charge, that was good. You had a chance to get away with it. Okay, make sure that when you are trying to block a shadow that you're not getting on top of cart, because guess what? It goes underneath cart, right? So us standing on top of the cart here actually got our whole team shattered underneath us, because the Reinhardt just shattered underneath the cart and then got us, or got around us, right? So here, just watch this again, right? We actually would have blocked this had we not been on cart. So we'll kind of slow-mo this. We jump on top here. Alright. And then Shatter goes underneath and gets those 2 guys behind us, right? So we just want to be careful that we're not getting on top of cart, but we're standing on the ground so there are shields actually hitting the ground. Because that's going to happen on pretty much every payload.
Okay.
Make sure you're not standing in front of the enemy Reinhardt. This is always a big no-no, right? Because that's just going to get you charged if you're standing in front of him. And the only time you can maybe do that is if you have a charge of your own and you're ready to counter-charge him. But in this situation, just make sure that we're not standing in front of him, because if we're standing in front of him, then we're going to die. So instead, you stand to the sides of him, right? You stand over here or you stand over here, rather than just straight in front of him, and then that way you don't end up getting charged by him.
Okay.
Alright.
One. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Fire strike. There you go. Just slightly delayed. Again, not a massive thing, just a thing. Yeah, I like the shield hopping we're doing.
And then I'm just holding this corner for I don't know how long.
Yeah, which is fine. We want to, right now, our goal is to get, so essentially, we used our shield, we shield topped forwards, got to the corner, we took the corner, right? That's good. We just crossed all this space with our shield. Now, right now, what are we waiting for to get aggressive?
Let's see. Shield's half. I don't know what I was doing there. I think I was just trying to hold the corner, see what happens.
No, so in this situation, like, what I'm not saying that you should be pushing, I'm saying, what are you waiting on to get aggressive? What are you missing?
What am I missing? My shield management.
Yep.
Because I didn't want to go into the point with low shield.
Yep,
So I was
exactly.
just
That's what I'm saying. Is the point, exactly the point. This is not like I feel like we're saying the same thing, but you're maybe slightly misunderstanding. I'm saying that you are right in this decision to not play aggressive. You should not be pushing in when you do not have shield. So right now, we're pushing in. We don't have shield. Now we're just waiting for a shield to come back. Once we get it, then we push, right? But
right.
that might mean we might not want to flash it though, because we tend to like we flash it there, and then we're about to flash in a second, like we do it here, right? Just because that's gonna cancel the recharge rate. So instead of doing that, just let it recharge all the way. No, that was perfectly played. On it, like honestly, there was no problem there. The guy maybe you just slashed it once or twice, and that was like it. But you know, besides that, we played that pretty well, right? We just waited for our shield to come back up instead of pushing when we didn't have it, and then we got the point as a result. I liked that you were shield hopping as well to take space. All right.
Right.
Objective A captured. Escort the payload.
Don't worry, my friends. I am your shield.
All right. Okay. Here we're just a little bit far forwards. Let's see. I think that this is all right as long as they don't just push you immediately here. Um, if if they had more people closer, this would probably be a bad idea because look how many people like we just have back here. Now preferably they wouldn't be back here, but we can't control that. Maybe we'd have like one person on cart and then Mora would be up with us. Mora is honestly, I don't know why she's on cart when Junkrat could just spam from there, right? But in any case, I think this is all right with where we're at right now. This is fine.
Right.
All right. We're shielding nothing right now. Just drop it so you're recharging it, right? We're not shielding anything in particular there. Just whenever a shield's not needed, put it down. Okay, so Reinhardt does not have shatter. Charge him, right? No reason to just go in and swing on that when we could just charge him out of it, right? This would put down his shield, allow more of our team to shoot him. Like, take a look at this real quick. Like, besides your Moira and you, what is Zarya look at, or I guess Zarya, yeah, what is Zarya and McCree are just sitting there shooting at Reinhardt's shield, right? Now they're just being pocketed through all this damage. Now what happens if instead we just we move to the right side? We can jump, right? So that we can kind of cover that distance fast and then charge Reinhardt this way, right? That does 300 burst damage as well as meaning making it so that Zarya and McCree can hit the Zarya and or the Reinhardt and kill them further, right? So here we just want to be charging rather than just sitting here swinging because we don't really have as much value, and we want the burst damage as well as the we want to be able to get Reinhardt's shield down, right? That's what we
Right.
want here. Keep in mind, whenever you can kill something faster, that's always better, right? When you kill something fast, it means they don't have time to heal, they don't have time to get away, they don't have time to get team support, they don't have time to use movement abilities or to escape, right? When you kill something faster, they die faster, and that means that you secure the kill. When we don't kill something fast, then that's going to be worse off for us. So burst damage is very important in this game. That's why one shot potential things are very incredibly important. But here we just want to make sure we're using the charge, right? Where's the Zarya? Okay, so Zarya got pooped all the way up there. I don't see any problem with that because they're only down one Reinhardt. They also use Nano, so that counters it. Just when you drop your shield, just keep it down. Honestly, like we kind of like flash it too frequently, where it should basically be going up for a period, down for a period, up for a period, down for a period. Instead, we kind of like use it really long, and then we drop it, and we go flash, 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 right? And we just kind of keep putting it up, and it just never recharges, right? Keep in mind, we just want to let it recharge so we actually get it all back, and then we can play aggressive again.
Okay.
Be getting super aggressive right now. No reason not to. Just like right now, we could just charge in after the Mercy if we wanted to here. Again, you could just charge him. We're playing slightly passive. Now he has more teammates, right? Because we're waiting a little bit too long. Oh, we got blown up there. What happened to our health? Pay attention to your health bar. He is low, but so are you, right? Right now, you guys are almost at the exact same health. So we want to make sure we're paying attention to our health bar. That's more awareness stuff because we don't. And then that means that we end up dying, right? Whereas
Right.
if we just shield a little bit faster there, we stay alive, but we end up dying because we are swinging too long when we're too low of health.
Огонь по готовности!
Still kicking.
The power of destruction.
The payload has come to a halt. Get it moving.
You're covered. Helden sterben nicht. Do something! Surrender. I'm under attack. Get into position. Go.
Mm.
I can't hold forever. Ow.
Fire at will. This will heal.
Okay, nice charge.
I'm on fire.
Don't be afraid to go to, again, don't feel like you always need to go for the Reinhardt. When you see three people lined up without a shield, go for the shatter, right? So right here, we get the Zarya, right? Three people lined up without a shield. Right? Don't feel like you need to outsmart the Reinhardt to get a big shatter off, because here we could just very easily go for a big shatter, get three people on the ground without, and then that means that, you know, Reinhardt gets punished by your team because they don't have teammates alive, and we could maybe get a fire strike through them and kill them, right? But we just hesitate with him, we don't get him. Alright, nice, we win the fight anyways. Alright.
Check out this gun. Watch your back.
Don't worry, my friend. I am your shield.
And now he has shatter as well. It seems like we need to do slightly better with blocking shatters. So we've been usually landing ours, but we seem now like we blocked the first one, but now we seem to be having a downwards trend of blocking shatters. We've gotten shattered out of the 4 shatters they had, we got shattered 3 out of 4 of them, right? So we want to make sure we're looking to block them a little bit better. So basically, a few different things. First off, identify the fact that they have a shatter, right? Make sure you're tracking it, make sure you're paying attention to it, because that's your job as Reinhardt to block it, right? If you're not blocking it,
Right.
you're not doing your job. Now, on top of that, we just want to make sure we're not getting super aggressive and swinging when we know that he has shatter. So like we don't want to essentially we want to, when we know he has it, we want to be like ready with our finger like hovering over the right click, just ready to tap it like as soon as we need to. The other thing you can do is look to bait it out by swinging, like so you can kind of swing and then shield and then swing and the shield, and then this can make him think that you're getting aggressive, and then that can maybe make him like kind of bait him out the shatter, and then you can just block it. And the other thing is just make sure that you're intentionally, or that you're putting up your shield a little bit more often than usual, right? You're just flashing it more than usual. This will mean that you're make it so that you're able to block it a little bit better if it's up more often. Here we get aggressive, and then we just get shatter, right? It's just not a time to get aggressive. You just don't want to get aggressive if you know that he has shatter, all right? Because you can't be swinging if you need to be shielding.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see.
Right, so we got to pick.
Helden sterben nicht.
Alright, when we're going for the shatter,
Helden sterben nicht.
we have a couple different ways that we can land it, right? First off, we have hitting people who are outside of shatter. Second off, we have waiting till Reinhardt's dead, or waiting till Reinhardt's shield is broken. We also have a couple different, techie things. We can wait till Reinhardt's fire striking or swinging on us, so we can just time for when he's dropping his shield, right? Some other things are we could do, this one's one of my favorites, is where we pretend to swing on something else. So for example, we can pretend right here to we balls behind us. We could balls up top behind us. We could pretend to maybe like turn, or let's say he's a little bit closer. Right? Let's just the example is like let's say ball's behind us and we turn around to go to pretend like we're going to swing on ball, right? Where we're looking up or swinging, we're looking this direction, and then Reinhardt's gonna go, okay, I can push him now, right? He's gonna drop his shield, and then you do kind of a whip around 180 shatter, right? That all is one of my favorites to pull off, because it's pretty effective, especially the lower down in ranks you get. People expect it a little bit more at higher ranks, but in any case, right here, we just kind of don't have anything going for us. We have Reinhardt swinging, and that's it. So we just kind of mistime the shatter. Make sure we're doing something to try to get around it.
Right.
All right, and then McCree comes up behind and kills us. So maybe Shatter Game's not looking at is looking more so on the inconsistent side now, not looking as good as we had thought at the beginning of the round or whatever, like when we did strengths and weaknesses. So now it's looking more inconsistent, maybe in the medium category of things to work on.
All right. Yeah, that's fair enough. Let's see what I do. Yeah, like as I said earlier, I'm like kind of like inconsistent, like with the passive aggressive playstyle on Ryan.
Hmm.
Fire at will. The payload moves certainly. This is my will.
Don't stand in front of Reinhardt. Stop getting aggressive when they have a beat. Right, that aggression was fine until they had a beat available. Right. Alright, and then honestly that charge ended up killing us just because we didn't have any health left. Alright.
I will not give up the fight. Come out and face me.
Okay, again getting shattered. Here we got our health got shredded very, very fast. So we're pushing in and getting aggro. Pay attention to the fact that it's shatter. Make sure we're not shielding too hard when we're looking for a shatter, right? We actually pushed like kind of past him as well there when we were looking for it, or at least sorry, we pushed past him even though like he had a shatter, right? So we just want to make sure we're standing behind our team, shielding a little bit more. We had shield available there. All right.
Right.
So here, let's go back to the main menu here. We're gonna go over like one or two techie things, and then we're going to get into the end of this session, and all this stuff that comes along with that. All right. So
Okay.
Justice will be
first
done.
off, with our like just paying attention to when you charge, right? Remember when you're like right here on somebody, look how fast you get out of the animation, right? You just are immediately able to do stuff, right? That's different when you're charging from like a super long distance, right? You're in the animation for a lot longer. Fire Strike has a charge up animation, so we can actually, if we're trying to like Fire Strike around the corner when we're low, or we're just trying to peek real quick without taking a bunch of damage, we can start the animation here, come around the corner, and then bring it back. So that looks like this. Right, so you can press the button, turn the corner, and then come back, and that actually means you're out in the open for a lot longer, a lot less time. Right, so I can show you again. Right, it looks like that. All right, now on from there, we're gonna find something real quick. So I just need to find the right range here. All right, So notice how at this range here, I cannot hit him, but when I look to the side, I actually can. Oh, come on. All right, there we go. I actually can hit them. So why that works is because Reinhardt's hammer hitbox actually is slightly larger on kind of the corners than the front when you're swinging on something. So you're actually gonna be able to hit them from further away when you're swinging from the side, right? So that means that when you're looking at people you're like who are far away from you, you might not want to stare straight at them. The other reason why you're not going to want to stare straight at people is because it's going to allow you to hit more people than one person. If we're looking straight at this person, we hit this person alone, right? But if we're actually looking this way, and we're swinging our camera, or we just do this, now we can hit two people. But what we're going to want to do is we're going to swing our camera. So this is very easy because you actually go in kind of rhythm with this way that your hammer's going, right? So hammer goes left, we go left, right, left, right, right, and then it's going to look like this, right, when we're swinging on people. That means that we're hitting multiple people at once. That's what you call cleave damage, where we're just doing a whole lot. And then that means that we can actually hit both of these guys, even though they're in completely opposite directions here, we can hit both of them at the exact same time.
Okay.
That's set up, right? So we just want to look to swing our camera around while we're swinging rather than just on one person, right? Another little techie chart, a little techie shatter thing here, real quick, and then we'll go get to the review. Right? You can look around you by using your left click, right, while you're right clicking if you're unaware, right? You can see behind you with your perspective. I'll repeat that if you need me to, but in any case, you can go up next to like a wall. This is only really works when you're on defense, but if you know that they have to walk through a pathway, right? They're gonna walk through this right here. We can do this. They cannot see my shield because it's like around in the wall here, and they can't see me, but I can see them, right? Because I can see around the corner. I can then cancel this and jump or and walk around this corner and shatter, right? And that's gonna look like, so I can wait until they drop their shield or they're walking and they don't notice me, and I can just turn this corner and shatter, right? Actually, that usually looks a lot smoother for some. Oh, wait, I'm doing this wrong. Wait, what am I doing wrong? All right, yeah. All right, so you that's how you I was letting go of my left click and that swapped me back to that perspective over here. But if you turn this corner holding left click, then you're actually gonna be able to shatter immediately. So that's what it looks like. That's gonna allow you to shatter like people around corners pretty effectively. All right, so reviews, abilities. Fire Strike, pretty good. Just use it slightly more often right off a cooldown. Charge, look to use it slightly more often. You can use it for mobility or to kill something, especially when you're trying to burst something down, right? Sometimes we just had opportunities where we could go for charges where we didn't. But again, just be very careful with it because it is a very high risk, high reward ability. On from there, but those two honestly weren't too terrible, especially in comparison to the rest of your kit, right? Shield management does need a whole lot of work though, right? For the most part, our shielding kind of looks like this, where like let's say we're trying to let's say we're on defense here, right? Our playstyle would kind of look like this, where like we're holding this corner and we just go shield, 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 shield. Oh no, shield is broken. I don't have shield. Back up, back up, back up. All right. We flash shield, flash shield, flash shield, flash shield. Oh no, my shield is broken. Back up, and that's what our whole playstyle looked like, right?
Right.
Whereas instead, what it should look like instead is we're just swinging on this corner, right? We're using the corner as cover. We don't need to use our shield. And remember, you're using your shield if you're low or your teammates are low, or if you're blocking abilities or ultimates. But you're not just soaking up spam damage with it. And then you play aggressive, right? You play aggressive. We're low. We back up, right? Our shield might be broken, so we give it more time. If we're trying to play aggressive and push into them, then we can shield hop forwards, right? And then we back up when we're low, right? We shield hop backwards, right? And then now we just, instead of flashing our shield, make sure we're not doing this, right? Where we're just shield, right? Make sure we're not doing that, but instead we're just kind of waiting for it. And we're just waiting for our shield to come back up. And then when it's back to near full, then we can play aggressive again, right? And we can do things. Yeah, that's what we want to be doing with it. And then that is pretty much it. Was just make sure you're not flashing it, making sure we're not like just holding it up and taking meaningless spam damage, right? Just look for better management of that because that was looking pretty poor. Shatter wise, probably looking kind of looking a little bit weak. Not like it wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. Make sure that we're not. There was a lot of times where we had opportunities that we just didn't take because we kind of seemed like we needed to get the Reinhardt, right? That was it. Like that was kind of like our main, when we're thinking of shatters, we're going, when I shatter, I have to get the Reinhardt or a shatter is worthless, right? But that's not the case. You can, if Reinhardt's over there and these guys are over here, let's just shatter these guys for free, and then boom, that's just 2 kills, right? It doesn't always have to be with, you don't always have to get the Reinhardt, right? Wait for Reinhardt's shield to go down, wait for it to break, wait for him to fire strike, wait till he's dead, right? Try to hit people around him. Do a thing where you're swinging in at something behind you and then do a quick whip around, right? That looks something like this, or I'll get it back up and I'll show you, right? Do the tech where I showed you around that wall, right? You have a bunch of different options, and then just watch out for the same things. When you know that it's coming, make sure you're tracking it, you're paying attention. You can track it by paying attention to when was the last time he used it, and you can compare it to your ult charge. If you used it at the exact same time and he did a lot more than you, he probably is gonna have it before you, right? So you can compare it like that. So this is the thing. If we're trying to land them on these guys, we would maybe wait for this guy to come back over. He's behind us, and we're going to pretend to swing on this guy, right? Swing, or even do swing on him, and then we whip around to do that, right? That's how you can land. That's the tech I was showing you before, right? Or was talking about before. Then
Okay.
besides that, just make sure that we're looking to we can swing and then shield immediately, so you can actually cancel your swing with your shield. So like if you're trying to go on a Reinhardt, you can go swing and then cancel it, or swing and then shield immediately, and then that could bait him into shattering because he thinks you're about to start swinging on him, right? And then besides that, just make sure that we're kind of ready with our finger on the trigger, ready to shield at a moment's notice, right? And ready to do it. Maybe shield a little bit more often than usual when you know it's coming, right? That way you just have a better chance of blocking it. All right, and then moving on. Positioning. Really good cover usage, good understanding of no man's land usage. Make sure we're taking high grounds for our team and to stop the enemy team from taking it. Look to reposition to the best place possible in between fights, and then make sure that you are brawling and you're standing next to people. Because as a Reinhardt, you are a brawl character. You're not a spam character, and very often we are standing way too far away. Right? Make sure we're getting a lot closer to people and we're brawling. Honestly, like third point, we got a lot more brawly than we did on like first and second. Right, and then that's actually where you saw a little bit more success, was because we actually starting to brawl more on third point. Right. Now, besides that, aggression or awareness / aggression. So a couple different things when it comes to awareness. First off, pay attention to your shield health and your health. That's going to be a big part of your aggression. When you don't have shields and you don't have health, you have to play passive. When you do have shields and you do have health, you play aggressive. Right. Besides that, make sure that you are paying attention to where's my team at, where's the enemy team at, right? So in game, where's my team, where's the enemy team, because that's going to allow you to make some good decisions as well. Make sure you're keeping up watching kill feed. There were, honestly, you did a lot better, I think, but there were still some times where we just didn't notice kill feed, and then we made some bad decisions, so make sure to keep that up. On top of that, just make sure in general we're trying to get more aggressive, because way too often we're just playing too passive. Now I don't want you to go with the, like, if we're looking at a spectrum, right? And 0% is passive, 100% is aggressive. I would probably say that right now we're at like 20%, right? Maybe 25%, right? I don't want you to all of a sudden go to 100%, because that would be bad, right? If you went to 100% aggressive, then you're going to die, and you're not going to do very much. But I want us to tone it up to go to like 50%, right? Because right now we're just playing way too passive, and we should be a little bit more aggressive. You could honestly maybe even get up to like 60%, right? But we're just playing way too passive at the moment, and that's just resulting in us not doing enough, right? But then at the same time, you also have to know when to play aggressive, when to play passive, because there are times where you do play passive. It's just not all the time. All right. Now, main points. Number 1, aggression, and we'll put number 1 as aggression. Number 2, we're going to put at shield management and awareness. Number 3, we're going to put at ultimate usage and actually, sorry. I said shield management. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm gonna keep it that. Yeah, shield management and awareness. Number 3, we're gonna put at ultimate usage and positioning, and then number 4, we'll just put at your other abilities, and the mechanics is not a thing. All right. Do you have any questions about anything we've talked about?
Let's see. The best tank synergy is Reinhardt, right? And
In a brawl comp, yeah. In the past, you've run some different comps, but at the moment, if you're just looking to run a brawl comp, yeah, Zarya has always been a really good combo with Reinhardt.
so when I play with a Hog or a Diva, it's more like I can't really play Ryan at his full potential, but he's still playable, right?
Yeah, so in the past, Ryan Diva comps are actually a thing, but that's like, that's in the past, not necessarily now. I'd probably say Diva's slightly better with a Reinhardt than a Hog, because she can actually give him some extra protection, and they actually they both like to play a little bit closer, because Diva's also is a close range character. So Reinhardt Diva is okay. Reinhardt Sigma is okay, is pretty decent. I'd probably say it goes like best comp is Ryan Zarya, second best is like Reinhardt Sigma, third best would be like Ryan Diva, then Ryan Orisa, Then Ryan, then like Ryan Hog is pretty bad. Ryan Ball's pretty bad. Or I mean like, yeah, it's not. I mean, it's actually not the worst, but it's also not the best. Right? They don't really synergize at all together. And then
Okay.
I don't know if I'm missing any there. But in any case, yeah, that's roughly how it is for the most part. I miss Monkey. Ryan Monkey's pretty bad as well. They don't synergize at all.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, that's all my questions for today.
All right. So let me stop the recording.